Sorry, chaps. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for the house band. Thank you all for joining us here at the Surface Design Awards. I'm Kunle Barker. I'm going to be your host today, and it's great because, you know, I've worked in the industry for 25 years now, and design's really important, but particularly the design that we interact with every day, that we touch, we walk over, we see when we're in work or walking through train stations. So it's really important that we do these awards. So thank you all for joining us. Now, I've been lucky enough to be in the industry for a while, and I've made some TV shows, and I've worked with people like Kevin MacLeod, I'm sure you know that, and Sarah Beanie. And people sometimes say to me, what's it like working with these people and being famous? And I said, well, look, actually, I'm not famous. And they said, well, you must get recognised. And I said, well, yes, I do get recognised sometimes. But there's a difference, you see. Because when you see Kevin MacLeod, you recognise him, but you know him. You know that's Kevin MacLeod. When you see Sarah Beanie, the same. You recognise her, but you know that's Sarah Beanie. When people recognise me, they have no idea who I am. Absolutely none. And then they start making stories up to try and make sense of their muddled memory. And they start saying, well, did I go to school with you? Do you know a girl called Jane? Or but for some reason, it's university. They always think that they went to university with me. I have no idea. And sometimes these conversations can go on for a long time, and normally it can be a bit embarrassing. I'm with my wife and we're at a dinner party, and people are saying, going on and on and on, and she's looking at me as if to say, tell them why they recognise you. And I never want to, because they always say the same thing. I always say to them, well, actually, you may know me because I've made some TV shows. And then they always say the same thing. I don't watch television. And I'm just like, because I think they say that because they don't want to seem stupid. But what's stupid is watching TV and then not remembering that you've watched it, because that's how they know me, and not because we went to university together. But although there was one time I was, last year, I was walking through the streets, and two ladies came up to me and said, hello, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're big fans, can we get a photo? And I think, actually, this is quite nice, being recognised and known. So they said, can we take a selfie? I said, yes, of course you can. And I do the selfie pose with my stomach in, shoulders back, chin out. We take these selfies. They're fantastic. I asked them, look, are you happy with that? She says, yes. I said, fine, thank you so much. And as I'm walking away, one lady says to the lady with the camera, and she says to her, who was that? And the lady with the camera says, well, I've always wanted to meet Ainsley Harriott. And the lady replies, well, I don't think that was Ainsley Harriott. He's like 6'3". A bit rude. But she says that anyway. And as we walk away, she says, well, who do you think that was? He said, well, I don't know. Maybe it was some guy that I went to university with. And there you go. But anyway, enough about me. On with the award tonight.